start a DJ side hustle in 2023. This video is about what equipment you need. Part 2 is going to be about how to get gigs. So in this video, I'm going to tell you guys how to start a DJ side hustle from scratch, what equipment you're going to need to start, and how much you could expect to make. And also I'm going to cover how to get gigs. I'm not going to go into specific details on like what the best speakers are or the best controllers are. I made other videos about that, and you can check out my channel if that's what you're interested in. So let's get started. So to start a DJ side hustle in 2023 is a lot simpler and a lot easier than it was, let's say, 10, 15 years ago, because a lot has changed, and I'm happy to say that DJing with the iPad is really starting to be considered a professional way to DJ and is really taken off. And my channel, I've been talking about DJing on the iPad. That's what the channel is about. So this makes it so much easier and more affordable, and you don't have to carry as much stuff when you go and do gigs. So if you're first starting out and you've never DJed before and you want to start a DJ side hustle, or maybe you've been DJing in your bedroom, what do you need to get started? Number one is you're going to need a device to play the music, to DJ on, whether it be a laptop or an iPad. Obviously, I'm biased towards the iPad. I think the iPad is much better than the laptop because basically you have one of the best touchscreen controllers right there without having any additional equipment. So I would recommend using an iPad, but if you want to go the laptop route, this video will still apply to you. So the next thing that you're going to need is some type of controller. Now, I'll be the first person to tell you that you can DJ a professional gig and do everything you need to do with just the iPad. And I also say that when you learn new DJ techniques, to learn them on the iPad first, so that if something happens with your controller. But with that being said, although you can DJ good with the iPad, the people that hire you, the people that are going to be in the crowd, are going to notice that you don't have a controller, and you're kind of going to look like you just do this as a hobby, and you're not going to look as professional. So even a cheap $200, $150 controller will do. Something like the DDJ 200, or what I have back there, if you could see it, the Reloop Buddy, or the new, or even if you want to spend a little bit more, the new DDJ Flex 4. And having this controller, people are going to see the two spinny things, the jog wheels, and they're going to see the knobs and buttons, and they're going to know that you mean business. So I would definitely recommend starting out with cheap, affordable controller. Don't go too cheap. Don't go with like the Newmark DJ2Go Touch or those small Hercules controllers that are just like a strip. Those are great for a backup. They're great for preparing your music. But when you do gigs, I would recommend having a more big rectangle controller, because that's what people are used to seeing. People that don't know anything about DJing, they see that the knobs and buttons, and they know that you're a professional. So now we have our controller, and we have our iPad, or we have our laptop. Now what we're going to need is music and a DJ software. I obviously would recommend DJ Pro AI. I believe it's the best software for the iPad, but you could go with Serato or another one, but I would recommend DJ Pro AI, especially if you're going the iPad route. And then now for music, the reason why DJ Pro AI is so good in my opinion is if we go over here to our sources, we have the ability to DJ with Tidal, SoundCloud, Beatport, and BeatSource. So what does that mean? That means we have instant access to millions and millions of songs right from our fingertips. You just have to sign up for the premium service. So gone are the days where you need to carry around big crates of records and heavy stuff, big CD cases. You could have everything in the cloud. Now, I would recommend, if that's the route that you're going for your music, to get some type of cellular service on your iPad. I pay an extra, I think it is $10 or $15 a month for my iPad to have the same T-Mobile 5G as my phone. So pretty much anywhere I go, I will have 5G. And then also at the venues that you DJ at, there is a good possibility that they'll have Wi-Fi, so that's even better. So now we got our controller, our iPad, and we have music. Now, we're going to need a couple more things. Number one is really the most important thing is going to be speakers. So now these will range in price and vary depending on what size speakers you get. And when it comes to speakers, it's physics. So the bigger the speakers are going to be louder. Now, a good rule of thumb is to go by the power of the speakers are measured in watts. And I would a lot of the DJ books, Rock the Dance Floor by Digital DJ Tips. I learned this there. They say to use to have at least 5 watts per person. So if you have 10 people at your party, let's just say you're gonna need 50 watts, and then so on if you go higher. So there's nothing worse than trying to DJ a gig and your speakers don't go loud enough. I've been in that situation before doing like family parties. And yeah, it hurts as a DJ when somebody tells you to lower the music, but it also hurts when someone tells you to turn it up and you literally can't turn it up at all. Nobody will really pay attention to your DJing because you're not providing enough music to actually fill the room. So when you pick out these speakers, make sure that they're at least like 200 watt. Make sure they're at least 10 inches. You could go all the way up to 15 inches, but maybe like 12-inch speakers will be good to start. And make sure you get a pair of them because a lot of songs are recorded in stereo, and it's just going to sound really terrible if you only have one speaker. And there's a lot of great kits on Amazon, a lot of great kits on other music websites where you can get two good quality speakers and stands, and then you're ready to go. But the next thing that you're going to need is cables. Now these are very important. You're going to want a way to get the wires from your speakers to your device. So make sure you go with high quality wires because this is obviously going to affect the sound quality, and you better off spending a little bit more than a little bit less when it comes to speakers. Now, another thing that we are going to need is somewhere to set this all up on. Now, if you show up at a venue, yeah, they might have a table for you, but they also might not, and then it'll be really awkward if you're trying to DJ without any place to put your equipment. So I would go with either, if you have a table lying around, you could use furniture risers. They're like little pegs that'll rise up the table to be at standing height instead of sitting height. Just keep this in mind because if you're DJing for a bunch of hours at a table that was meant for sitting and you're standing, your back's gonna hurt and it's not really gonna be fun. Also, you could just buy a table that has adjustable legs. There's a really good Costco one, and there's a bunch of ones that you could find where they will adjust to standing height so that you don't have to worry about that. Now, another thing that you're gonna need is you're gonna need cases. You're gonna need cases to transport your equipment because you don't want any of the buttons or knobs or faders to kind of fall off or get bent. That controller up there, that old one, has a lot of bent knobs and faders, which makes it really hard to DJ, and it's really frustrating. So now we have all of our equipment. We have something to set it up on. The next thing that you're going to need is a microphone. Although you may be saying to yourself that I don't plan on being on the microphone, or I sound stupid on the microphone, or I'm not an MC or a rapper or whatever. But when you do these gigs, you're going to have to most likely make an announcement. It's someone's birthday or it's time to eat or something. So I would say to go with a decent wired microphone because the wireless microphones, unless you get an expensive one, then you might have feedback and you might have problems if you get a cheap wireless one. So just go with a wired one and get a long enough cable, and then you are good to go. So you guys see that DJing in 2023, doing gigs, is not, we don't need that much stuff. So this, it's really not that expensive. All the stuff I recommend is definitely under $1,000. And then you are set to go out and get gigs. In my next video, I'm going to give you guys some ideas on how to get gigs, where to find them, and also how to think out of the box and get gigs that no one really thought about. So if you found the value in this video, give it a like. If you want to learn more about DJing, making money DJing, and DJing with the iPad, subscribe to this channel. Also, let me know any comments or questions that you have. I try to get back to them as soon as possible. Thank you.